on a little different tack to my usual political videos, but I think everything is politics. Life is politics. Politics is not about putting a piece of paper in a ballot box. But anyway, in 1967, me and my best buddy Martin, or one of my best buddies, certainly one of my oldest buddies, we decided we want to hitchhike around Europe, or part of it. We took off with £25 each. We got the ride down to Dover, he says, I can't remember, through a truck driver from Waterloo Station. We took the ferry over. We tried hitchhiking out of Calais. It wasn't working. We stayed in a youth hostel that night. So we were young men, you know. We stayed. And I'll never forget, there was the daughter of the person that ran it was doing exercises on one of these things. She was a young woman. Oh, we were young men at the time watching her exercise. I remember it, just being awed by this beautiful young woman. But anyway, and next morning, instead, we gave up. So we took a train to Paris. Couldn't get a bloody ride out of Paris. I always felt the Northern French didn't like us very much, English people. But anyway, we couldn't get out of there. So we got, I don't know how we got to Versailles from there, because we didn't have much money, you know. And so we got to Versailles, and it started to piss down with rain. I'm going to send this to Marvin, and I'm putting it on here for some reason. I'm going to mention somebody later. And so we were sleeping under a bench, a picnic table in the forest there at Versailles. And then we went out on the road. It was too cold, and we just started hitchhiking. And this guy picks us up, and he took us all the way to Marseille, right on the Mediterranean. It was a long drive, you know. It was 1967, so my memory is a little suspect. But he took us all the way, and I remember him talking to us about something. He was a bit of an odd character, but we weren't afraid of him or anything. He was all right. And we stayed there, and then we hitchhiked along the Côte d'Azur or to the Italian border. But that's where I met. Really, I ended up meeting my wife through that, because we met two Yanks. We met them. They were riding mobilettes, little bikes, and we were sleeping on the beach in Nice, right across from the Negresco, a famous hotel. I'm missing out parts here because I don't want it to be long. And it was called Le Voilier. It was right across the street from, I think, from Negresco, along the Promendade Des Anglais. And there were all nationalities sleeping on that bloody beach there, me and Martin. And we were later on to meet, I think it was later, two Yanks that were on mobilettes. The Yanks they had money. Most Americans were middle class. We used to talk about them. They got patches on their jeans, but no holes underneath. Our mums, they darned our patches and they darned our socks. So there's a bit of a resentment with the Yanks, but we liked them in the main, you know. But we were on Le Voilier, and there was all nationalities on Le Voilier. And this beach, I think it means, Le Voilier means, I think, the sailboat or something. La plage was the beach. And every morning, there were Germans, there were Swedes, I remember a Japanese guy, I don't know if Martin will remember him, in a suit, like he was rice dressed, he'd come all the way overland. And we were sleeping on the beach, and every morning this woman would come down on a mobilette, and the name was Monique. To my knowledge, none of us were having relations with her, but we loved her, and she'd bring us coffee every morning. And I've often dreamt if I won the lotto, or where I could have so much money, it wouldn't matter with it. I would, that's a neighbour of mine, I would love to find the woman that was Monique. She was an attractive young woman. Of course, when you're 20 years old or whatever, 19, 18, 17, what was I then? 49, 59, 69. Oh, I was 18 years old. You know, all the young women are beautiful. You're just bubbling with it. And like, her name was Monique. I'd love to meet her if she's still alive, or at least correspond with her. It was in Nice. She would bring us coffee down on the mobilette every morning. We loved her. Anyway, that was my first trip, just bumming around, and I'll continue a little more of it. But it was a great eye opener for me. We went on from there. We got as far as Venice, me and Martin, and I'm still in touch with him today. But I did meet the two Americans. One of them I'm still in touch with, and I ended up marrying one of them's girlfriend. That's how I came to America. and one of them was a Jewish guy, and I didn't know he was Jewish. If I'd met Jews, I wouldn't know about it. You know, I didn't. I had a stereotypical view of them because I grew up in the Catholic Church and I grew up in England after I came there from Africa. But anyway, yeah, Monique, if there's a chance of me ever hearing from this woman, this French woman, young woman at the time named Monique, that brought us coffee in 1967, but on the beach opposite Negresco, I'd love to find her and thank her.